Minasan. I hope you guys have had a really good week. Um, there was a lot of movement in the market, so this week is more after having some of that momentum. We would have a little bit of continuation patterns, which I'm really excited about. But before that, if you are trying to implement or been thinking about having a new daily routine that would be of advantage uh, to your success and prosperity, but you keep falling into non-consistency with it, you know, or you just don't start. When I find myself in those kinds of situations, something that usually helps is silence. If I cannot start, it means that there must be too much noise, which then does not allow me to do the thing that I want to do. Maybe there's too much noise in my mind or around me or whatever it is it might be. So it is then of your advantage to go into silence. So for me, how that looks like, because I live alone, it means just shutting down, So um, the phone goes off. I don't respond to any texts, no phone calls, no WhatsApps if you're into that or whatever it is might be, and just be in silence for that week. And whilst in silence, you then start something new. Maybe you're waking up at 5 a.m. or whatever it is it might be. But allow yourself to get to a state whereby you are just bored with yourself. And then allow that boredom, because it is within that boredom that you start receiving, almost like hunches, messages, whatever it is you want to call it, from something that is or that feels greater than what you are. And once you can spend that time in silence, spend that time with yourself, get bored and unbored, whereby you create a new baseline, it becomes very difficult for you to get back to the things that you were doing. So maybe social media was distracting you. It gets difficult for you to go back to that social media, because now you have started to enjoy that time with yourself and time just in contemplation. And you also realize what that time does for you. Your productivity increases, your hunger for other things that help you out also increases, and you start to build momentum in that way. And if you can do that on a regular basis, maybe once a month or once every 3 months or once every 6 months or so on, you start then, each time you create a new baseline, a new baseline, a new baseline of, you go back to zero. You go back to the things that are good for you, the things that prosper you, But in that time of silence, also make sure that the silence is not just of a phone. Make sure it's the silence of the mind, silence of, the things that might stimulate you, so even your food. Try only eat food that you've cooked, Stay away from sugars, anything that's intense, like, takeouts and things like that, like the hardcore takeouts, highly preserved takeouts especially, and things like that. If you need to have takeout, maybe just have something that's more natural, not too spicy, not too salty, not too anything really. And you create new baselines there, and you start enjoying more things even more. You get a heightened sense of those things. It doesn't mean you leave those things forever. When you establish your new baseline, when you come back to those things, you come back to them in moderation. So now, instead of having like a pizza every 3 days, that, okay, I'll have pizza once a month, or I'll have takeout once a week, just on the weekend. During the week, it's go time. Social media, I'll just do that on the weekend for a short time, and so on. So yeah, that's just something that's worked for me. Hopefully it will work for you too. But this is the three pairs that I have for the week ahead. So the first one here, it's looking really good, is the Australian dollar versus the US dollar, and we've pushed down quite nicely to the downside here. So what I'd be looking for is very, very simple here. I'm just looking for a continuation to the downside in this area, Where are these tools gone? Let me just use this one here. So I'll just be looking for a little bit of a continuation, 2-touch or 3-touch continuation to the downside, and we'll take that to where price may go. Another one that I'm liking for the week ahead is this sterling Australian dollar, and with it what I'll be looking for here, just if I can take you down to the 15-minute, I'm just looking for price to give us continuation in this area, maybe a little it's already started with the little 3-touch on top of the 2-touch, so this would be almost like just 2 touches, but within those 2 touches there's this 3-touch, which just takes the probabilities a bit higher and lowers the risk of the position that I'd be willing to take here. You know, if this doesn't form, I'm probably not going to take the position. And then lastly here, with the Euro AUD, we're in a beautiful state of continuation. I did not grab this position here. There was a position here in this area right over here. I didn't grab it because of just the size of the continuation was quite big relative to the push up itself. But right now, if we get a continuation, unless if we had this continuation in this area, I'd be more than happy to have taken it, because then we would have pushed up a bit more. But over here, I would then be looking for a nice little 3-touch position or a 2-touch position with a 3-touch within it, and then I will take that to the upside. Otherwise, yeah, that's the top 3 that I have for the week ahead. Hopefully you'll have an amazing week. Is it the second week of February or so? And I'll catch you again next week. Bye.